All right, Debbie, I'm bringing you in for number one.
Red Matthew.
I don't see Matthew though.
Okay. No, Mr. Noon is not attending.
Okay.
Okay.
Need your name and address for the record, please?
Deborah Yelvington, Dynamic Permits at 20 Waterford Drive, Wheatley Heights, New York, 11798.
Okay. Did you affirm to tell the truth?
I do.
For the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 29th, 2021. A survey by Wallace T. Bryan dated October 10th, 2020. The same survey marked up with the in-ground pool and wood deck. Same date, tax map acting as an area map, and
12 photographs, Mr. Chairman, and a plot plan by Dynamic Design dated December 2020.
would you like to tell us about the application?
Sorry, was that my cue?
Yeah, what would you like to tell us about the application?
Okay, good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Thank you, Deborah Yelvington of Dynamic Permits, petitioning the board on behalf of my clients, Matthew and Linda Noon. My clients have lived at this property since the 1980s, over 35 years. The original house was CO'd in 1948. And quite interestingly enough, on the CO, it's noted that the original construction cost was a whopping $4,000. Things haven't changed since then, but some things stay the same. The small house had additions from the prior owners, and then Mr. and Mrs. Noon also put some additions on, and we are looking to legalize an existing wraparound deck and a shed addition. Often we have our homes so that our kids can grow up and then we send them out. But then sometimes they come back. And the Noons now have a grandchild living with them. And it's been Mr. Noon's dream to have a swimming pool, but he's been busy working and raising his family for all these years. But now he has the opportunity to buy a swimming pool, have it installed, and that's what we're petitioning for as well. He wants to enjoy that with his family. And with the quarantine situation that we all suffered through last summer, you can imagine why he would like this in before the season starts to enjoy with his family. So our parcel is zoned Residence B and requires a 20% maximum building area. We are looking to increase that coverage to 27.7%. The building department has calculated that as an overage of 768 square feet. If I can hold up the survey, I know you have one there, but if you can see that I've marked it up, and maybe you can't see that. I have the swimming pool noted
You're
in
good.
blue.
Hold it still for a second.
That I show the swimming pool there, and the deck is wrapped around the house in pink, and then there's a little shed addition in back of the garage that's also pink. So you can see this lot, it's kind of tight, and there's not really another optimal place to put the swimming pool. But you can also see on this lot that 7%, 7.7% that we're over is not congested with other habitable structures. They're all uninhabitable outdoor living structures. The shed is for storage, and the deck, obviously it's not enclosed, it's open. And the pool they're proposing is an in-ground pool, below ground pool. So nothing is sticking up like an appurtenance or picking up property. So I feel that it's not a substantial request when you consider that we're still having an open area there, and it's just in the plan view that you can see what the coverage is like. It's a tight backyard, but the pool, the deck, and the shed are not habitable space. They're just accessory structures. The pool, the deck, and the shed are also not aesthetically displeasing to any of the neighbors. The shed that's being legalized is only 123 square feet. It's required to have an 8-foot rear yard setback. There was some error, but it only has a 7.7-foot setback at the rear property line. We're requesting that be able to remain. That's a 4-inch encroachment from what it should have, not substantial in that reduction. And this request would not be contrary to the character of the neighborhood. I'm going to hold up another exhibit, and hopefully I can hold it nice and steady. unless you have that also. I have this Google Earth aerial shot, and I've noted the subject parcel with the arrow. And if you see all around that radius, this neighborhood, it's 50% seemingly like neighbors have swimming pools and other structures in their yards as well. So it's not contrary to the character of the neighborhood. And if I can show you the street view of this home, if you don't have that already in front of you, one of those. It's a very well-kept house. It's not a huge house. It's a nice yard. My clients take pride in their property. They keep it neat and well maintained.
Okay, thank
And
you.
lastly, I'd like to
Sorry.
present to you support affidavits from neighbors. These originals have also been submitted to Lena at the zoning board. But I
Okay.
have 4 affidavits. I'd like to read the addresses for the record of neighbors in support of Mr. Noon's petition. 2 of them are adjacent neighbors and the one directly across the street. And that would be the property at 64 New York Avenue, number 40 New York Avenue, number 547 Empire Avenue, right behind the parcel by the pool, and number 47 New York Avenue. And in closing, just wanted to ask that this relief would mean a lot for the family. We feel like it's minor in request compared to how the whole lot is situated. The addition of this swimming pool would mean a lot to the family. They'd have many more continued years of loving where they live and taking pride in their property. We ask the board to humbly approve this request. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. So what brought you here tonight is that you're putting the pool in. That's what triggered the other things as far as the deck and the shed.
Yes.
Okay. So how long has the deck been there? That's a wraparound. Basically, it's a wraparound porch.
Yes. I have that note. I think it's 7 or 8 years.
Okay.
And I think the shed is a little bit longer.
Okay. And that porch is a covered porch. Am I correct?
Unenclosed, the uncovered, just that Trex material all around. Is it shown on there?
It's just
Okay.
a straight deck,
Just a
Okay.
straight
Oh,
deck.
it's uncovered.
not
Okay.
roofed over.
Okay.
Oh,
All right.
thanks, Kate.
No problem.
So you would agree to keep that porch would stay unenclosed, right?
Unenclosed, right, and likely uncovered, thanks. Yeah.
Okay. So the pool is not requiring a variance actually outside of the fact of it needs lot coverage, and it's triggering lot coverage. And that shed, is that shed been there for a long time or? And that's
The
attached
shed-
to the garage kind of, or just up against it?
It's attached kind of up against it. I believe that one was more like 15 years.
Okay.
15 years sitting there.
Okay. I have no further questions. Any other questions from the board?
Yeah, Mr. Chairman, ma'am, is the shed accessible from the garage?
I don't have that floor plan in front of me, I'm sorry.
Well, with the entrance to this
The side door around the side
on the north side or on the south?
on the plot plan, on the south side.
Okay,
Like when you come up the driveway, you walk there because the screen porch is kind of in the way on the other side.
Right. Okay. So you don't know if it's, there's entrance from the garage or the entrance is just from the outside?
I believe it's just from the outside.
John, I just looked at the pictures. It looks like it's 2 solid walls and just one door from the side of the property. So it doesn't look like you can access it from the inside of the garage.
can't make it a 2-car garage is what I was,
Wait,
Yeah,
no.
no.
Oh, deeper now.
okay, thank you.
No problem.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Brian, we have anybody?
Nope.
Okay, so we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for 1 week for any further comments. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks for everything coming down.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chairman.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I'm bringing in the applicant for number 2.
Number 3.
Those are 2 and 3 together, aren't?
Yeah, it's the same applicant,
Yeah,
same representative, and there is a neighbor looking to speak after the presentation for both.
okay, so let's do them both together, I think, yeah.
Okay, so 2 and 3.
Yep.
It's not a subdivision though, Mickey, okay?
Yeah, I read that someplace in one of the things, it's not a subdivision. It was subdivided already, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
You guys ready for me?
Yes,
Yeah, okay. We can hear me this week?
yes.
Okay. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. For the record, Nicole Blanda. I'm an attorney at Bizzell, Blanda and Visconti with offices at 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Okay. So we're gonna do 2 and 3 kind of together. I mean, that makes sense for you? Works?
That works for me.
Okay. All right, so for the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 29th, 2021. That's on the number 2 application. On the number 3 application, we have also the same planning memo dated 29th of 2021. We have, let's see, a survey on each application, both by Michael Scalise and both dated September 3rd, 2020. And
3 photographs for each, Mr. Chairman, and a set of floor plans undated.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
So these 2 parcels were subdivided, I guess, 15 years ago. The likelihood is I did it. It was for Bolello Development. I have a vague recollection, but again, it is 15 years. It was approved by the planning board in August of 2006. Back then, it was Residence C. So they didn't have, there's no prior ZBA on these lots because they conformed. So it was just a strict subdivision. At the time, I guess the owner, they did record covenants and restrictions pursuant to the planning board resolution, and they pulled permits, but then never built. So each lot, they have a separate tax lot already, 50.1 and 50.2. They have street addresses of 1524 and 1530. They're each 75 by 100 with 7,500 square feet. I think the important thing to note is that they meet all the setback requirements. They do conform to the area in terms of there are other lots in the area that are 75 footers that look to be that they were split probably back around the same time. Immediately next door, there is a 50 footer that looked to be a back-to-back split with the block that's just to the north, which, if you look, it's, I guess, on 14th Street at front, so 39.2 and 39.1. That was a split. And then you have a similar split at 57.2 and 57.3. Again, obviously it was subdivided, but just so for the board's edification to get an idea of the surrounding area. And also the larger side yard setback is going to be for the adjacent neighbors. In other words, the 18-foot. Can I screen share?
I believe you can. Do you see it or no?
Yeah. Do I do desktop or application?
Do the application, and then the application you pick is the one that you need to
Oh,
share.
no, I don't like to share. There. Oh, it's not letting me.
It's not letting you?
Let's try again. All right. Share.
There you go.
Okay.
You're good.
So, I know I'm trying to see which, here we go. So if you see this survey, you see how I'm giving the 18-footer side yard setback. This is an existing neighbor. And then I don't want to lose it, but the lot next to us would also have an 18-foot, just to give an aerial photo so the board can kind of see where we are. So, you know, right now all you see are treetops, but there are actually 2 separate lots there. And so the larger side yard would go for 1514, and then there's a larger side yard for this neighbor as well. Single family homes, owner occupied, no accessory apartment. And that's really it. It's a 4-bedroom, 3-bath home. You know, if the board has any questions, I'd be more than happy to answer them.
Okay, so this area was upzoned, and that's why they were creating these, because it's B now. Was C, when it was C, they met everything?
Exactly. Exactly. Yeah, I mean, I look back at some other cases I did 15 years ago, and yeah, they were Residence C.
Okay.
It can't be 15 years, can it?
Yes.
I know that.
I haven't aged. I don't,
So you would agree to all the standard covenants and restrictions and conditions on both applications?
I bring the neighbor
yes.
in.
There's, looks like there's 13 of them.
Yeah, yep, okay. I have no other questions. Any other questions from the board?
No.
Okay, we have somebody on this, right, Brian?
Yep, I'm gonna be bringing in Frank. Give me a sec.
Hello?
Hey, what's going on, Frank?
Hi,
Hey, Frank, I need your name and address for the record, please.
yes, my name is Frank M. Voles Jr., 1537 13th Street, West Babylon. I see Dave smiling. Hi, Dave.
Do you affirm to tell the truth?
I certainly do.
Okay, what would you like to tell us?
I'm the only native son left on this street. Family bought the property across the street from the applicant in 1932, and I've been living here my entire life, which was soon will be 83 years.
Bless you.
God bless you.
Can I sneeze?
Sure.
Thank you.
Feel free.
What would you like to tell us?
A quickie comment. I'm not opposed to anything. I just wanted to make a request. I knew the history of that property very well, dating back to as far back as I can remember.
Quiet.
Would be like the early 1940s. But it's my understanding that it's within the purview of the ZBA to require owner occupancy, and I would respectfully request that it be exercised.
That's one of the conditions. There are 13 different covenants and restrictions that will be placed on the property. And
Uh-huh.
that is one, as well as no accessory apartment, no outside deck, single family use only.
Okay,
So it's already going to be on there, and she's already agreed to those covenants and restrictions.
fine. Thank you very much. I'll just sit here and watch you folks enjoy yourselves.
Okay. Thank you.
I
Please
appreciate
do.
it.
Would anyone else like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. So we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision, keep the record open for 1 week in case there are any further comments. Thanks for coming down, and I'm glad we are able to take care of your concerns.
Thank you.
Good night.
All right, Mr. Chairman. Where did my list go here? I have a list. Here we go. Looking for Angela. I'm gonna be bringing Angela for application number 4. And her architect, Edward.
Nine pictures.
Okay.
Hi, good evening, everyone.
Hello.
Hey, going to need your names and addresses for the record.
Sure, it's Angela and Michael Balzamira, 118 Maybrook Road in North Babylon, New York, 11703.
And do you both affirm to tell the truth?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, for the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 29th, 2021. A survey by Michael Wicks, last dated August 20th, 2020. And tax map acting as an area map and
4 photographs, Mr. Chairman, and a plot plan and floor plans dated October 26, 2020 by Edward sorry, stamps covering it. Going, is that all right?
Yeah, that's fine.
Sorry.
Okay, thank you. What would you like to tell us about the application?
We're proposing a one-story addition, also a garage conversion to expand their first floor living space. Unfortunately, because of the size of the property, it is a pie-shaped piece of property. So on the corner, on the side of the house where we're doing the addition, it does encroach further into the side yard because of the pie shape. We did set back the addition slightly, so it wouldn't encroach too close to the side property. But the best that we could come up with was the 7.8 off of the side yard. The other additions, the rear roof over porch in the back and the shed are existing conditions that were added, I believe, by her father over the years, and they were never legalized, and they didn't realize that they weren't legal. So we're proposing to legalize these with the application.
Mr. Koenig,
Yeah,
the chairman will swear you in.
Yeah, I just need your name and address for the record.
Sure, it's Edward Koenig, Koenig, office location 415 Lake Avenue South, Nesconset, New York.
Okay, and do you affirm that everything you just told us is true?
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Attorney hearing over to Mr. Shepherd.
Yeah, I just have one question, Mr. Chairman. Would you agree that the rear deck not be further enclosed? Anybody like to answer?
The rear porch?
Yeah, yes, the rear deck.
You guys still on?
Are you
Yeah,
there?
Michael and Angela, I think they're asking that to you.
I'm sorry, what was that?
You can
We
represent.
didn't know that was towards us. I'm sorry, can you repeat that?
Sure.
Would you agree not to further enclose the rear deck?
Yes, we agree.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank
Little
you.
funky doing it like this, so. Yeah.
I know, it's a little weird.
Can be. I
Thank you.
have no further questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application? Ryan, nobody? Okay, so we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to hold the record open for 1 week for any other further comments. You'll get the decision in the mail, okay?
Thank
Okay,
you.
Thank you.
Thank
Have a
you.
good evening.
Everybody, thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Chairman, I'm going to be bringing back
Nicole.
Miss Blanda.
Hello again.
Hey, name and address for the record.
Nicole Blanda, Bazell Blanda Visconti, 535 Broad Hollow Road, Melville, New York.
Okay. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 29th, 2021. A survey by Michael Scalise dated October 29th, 2020. Tax map acting as an area map and
And one photograph, Mr. Chairman, and undated plans.
okay. What would you like to tell us about this application?
All right, I'm going to screen share the aerial. To give everybody an idea of where we are. Okay, all right. So we're right here, 148 Gordon Avenue. So we're on the south side of Gordon Avenue. As you can see, we abut the Southern State Parkway to our south. Immediately to the west is another parcel with the same frontage as we have, which is 61 feet. So these parcels that run along Gordon happen to be very deep. Most of them run between 200 to 250, depending on the angle, both on the north side and the south side. Our parcel, we're zone residence A. I have a survey here. No, that is my next one. Oh. Here we go. So as you can see, we have 61 feet of frontage along Gordon Avenue, and it's a pretty deep parcel. We have 203 feet of depth. So it's a lot area of 12,441 square feet. So we're just shy of complying with the required lot area of 12,500 square feet. So that's one of the variances we're here for tonight. It is two separate tax lots put together, tax lot 2 and tax lot 3. Immediately adjacent to us is another 61-foot parcel that I believe is tax lot 1. We did try to pick a house that would be a good fit for this lot, but we are requesting some side yard setbacks, and they're very similar to other existing homes in the area with side yard setbacks. And we tried to keep it consistent with the relief that we got back in 2019. It's ZBA case number 19-034. That property was down the street on Gordon Avenue on the north side. It's lot 43. And on that one, again, very similar, 61 feet of frontage. That parcel had a little bit over 12,500 square feet, if I remember correctly. That was not one of our variances. But we did get an east side yard reduction from 15 feet to 10 feet, and the west side from 15 feet to 12. Total side yards 35 feet to 22 feet. Again, to fit a similar sized house. So at the time, I think we had even asked for a greater side yard setback, but we then reduced the home. So that lot, I don't know if it was built yet or if it'll show up on the aerial, but it's closer to Little East Neck Road. So it's around here somewhere. I'm not really good with this aerial right now, but I'm sorry. It's across from, I believe, the church. So I believe it's over here somewhere, but very similar relief, similar sized house. I think the difference between this application and that application is inches in terms of the side yard setback that we're requesting. This size house is a 39 by 37 foot, 2-story single family dwelling. It would have all of the usual covenants and restrictions, single family owner occupied, no accessory apartment, all that kind of stuff. Again, we do feel that it matches the area, because if you do look at the aerial, as you go down the street, there are a lot of homes that are set close to either to one side or the other. So we do feel that when you're seeing it from the street, that it does look similar. The perception is similar from the street, and we want to give a family that moves in more living space. So, if we took another foot off, I don't feel it would do that. And again, we're really just inches away from the prior approval on the same street.
Okay. And you agree to all the covenants, restrictions, and conditions on the planning memo? Usual
We do.
stuff
Yes.
on there. All right. All right. I have no other questions. Any questions from the board? Would anyone like to be heard on this application?
No, Mr. Chairman, there's not.
Okay, so I'm going to close the hearing, reserve decision. Going to hold the record open for 1 week for further comments, and you'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks.
Okay, thank you.
Thanks.
Application number 6, I believe requested an adjournment.
Correct.
Number 1 in your correspondence.
And then I have the applicants for application number 7, if the board is ready.
We're ready. Go.
Ms. Blanders again, and George Badger from Spaces Architect.
Good evening, Mr. Chairman, members of the board. Nicole Blanda, 535 Broad Hollow Road in Melville.
Should have pre-recorded that tonight.
I'm not that savvy.
Neither am I. For the record, we have a planning division memo dated January 29th, 2001. A survey by Charles Gravano. And I didn't find the date on this. This is a site plan by George Badger, dated 6/19. Tax map acting as an area map.
And 3 photographs, Mr. Chairman.
Like, tell us about the application.
Sure. So I think my architect is on as well, Mr. Badger.
Okay.
Before I begin, Mr. Chairman, we did talk to the applicant today, and we are going to withdraw request number 2, which was requesting a waiver from the fire sprinkler system. We are going to delete that request.
I'll make a motion to delete variance number 2, allow no fire sprinkler system to be installed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay,
In addition, when I filed, so this went through the planning review process, it got site plan approval. During the process, there was a last minute comment from town engineering that removed a parking space. So when I filed my application, I filed with 40 spaces and the site plan shows we have 40 parking spaces. The memo says 41, which was from a prior iteration of the site plan. So I would like to amend so that the parking variance is accurate. We have 40 spaces, not 41.
okay. I'll make a motion to amend the first variance permission to diminish off-street parking from 61 spaces to 40 spaces.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Okay. I'm just going to pull this site plan up. There we go. So this is on the south side of Route 109. It's west of the Southern State Parkway. It's an industrially zoned site. An existing multi-tenant building is there. It's about 0.862 acres. The building footprint itself is about just shy of 16,000 square feet. There are COs that date back to 1963. It was a light industrial. There's a CO for a warehouse use. In 1971, there was a discotheque. And then there were interior alterations in 92 for a theater. So in 2004, a deli was put in and there were alterations for that as well. Since then, in 2018, my client purchased the property and he thought all COs were in place, but they were not. So he's here to continue legalizing the existing building. The CrossFit gym was part of what triggered having to come back, as well as there are two small tenancies that are going to be retail space. Apparently people don't go to discotheques anymore. So that was not going to continue to be a use there. You can see on the site plan, there are two existing curb cuts on Route 109. They're full service curb cuts. We are obtaining the DOT permits to repair the curb and the sidewalks. New asphalt, the parking striping will all be new fencing, new refuse enclosure in the rear, all good stuff to upgrade the site and bring it up to date. We do require a parking variance. We're going from 61 required to 40 provided. Cameron Engineering was the traffic safety expert on this, and they reviewed it during the site plan approval process. They had no issue with the parking variance and said they had no objection to it. It is important to note that part of the parking calculation comes from warehouse space. So I believe there are about 6 or 7 spaces that are attributed to storage. So I kind of call them there was like phantom spaces. So I feel they fall in our favor. But we believe the site will work. Like I said, there's a deli, there's a CrossFit gym and a warehouse space. They kind of work on offset hours. So we don't foresee the lot ever being completely full or anyone having a problem. And the layout was created for maneuverability throughout the site and to just make it, a better site, bring it up to date. So that's why we're here tonight.
Okay. I think the only question was about the sprinkler stuff. So, and then right now there's 2 vacant areas there. 2 of them are still not have.
Right, they have 2 retail tenants. He needs to get his COs in place before he starts leasing out more space.
Okay. All right. I have no further questions. Any other questions from the board? Okay. For the record, well, would anyone like to be heard on this application? For the record, there are none. We're going to close the hearing, reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for 1 week for further comments. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks.
Great.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay.
Good night for real.
Good night.
Easy night. You didn't have to travel.
All right, Mr. Chairman, I have the applicants for number 8, Dixon Gas Corp.
Okay.
Do we have?
3 people. Give me a second. There we go. The applicant also sent me some stuff to screen share. So Lou, let me know what you need me to share. I think he's still on mute though. There you go.
Okay,
Okay. Did your name and address for the record, please?
good evening. Louis J. Capasso Esquire, 57 West Main Street, Suite 130, Babylon, New York, 11. Attorney for the applicant. Good evening, Mr. Chairman, Board.
Hold on a second. Let me just read some stuff into the record, okay?
Sure.
Okay, I have a planning memo dated January 29th, 2021. A survey by Paul Borowski, last dated December 10th, 2019. Tax map acting as an area map, and
4 photographs, Mr. Chairman, and a site plan by Kevin Pappison and Be Thayer Architects dated July 12th, 2020.
what would you like to tell us about the application?
This is an existing gas station that has been in operation since 1966. The existing building is currently being used as a public storage, public garage. My client wants to completely renovate the existing building, update all the equipment there as far as, not update, but install new equipment. And he wants to put a convenience store there. Now, the parking, the relief we're seeking for the parking is going from 9 spaces to 8 spaces, but we worked very carefully with the planning department. A concern of theirs was that trucks that would be making deliveries, they did not want them blocking access to the public, to the roads. So included on the site plan, you could see there's a area for deliveries in addition to the 8 spots that we have. There are existing curb cuts, 2 on the south side, 2 on the east side. We're asking for a slight variance from on the east side from 10 feet to 7 feet. I just want to tell you that the property is zoned Industry G. To the north of the subject parcel is industry. To the east of the parcel is industry. Across the street is industry. There are some homes on Bayview Avenue, which would be on the west side. We're also asking for a slight variance on the requirement that the gas station can't be within 2,000 feet of another gas station. On the radius map, there is 1 gas station to the north, and it's 1,900 and change feet, so it's a very slight diminishment in that. The landscaping, right now, there's no landscaping. That, to be honest with you, the place is an eyesore. So we would like to go from the 10 feet required landscaping to 3 foot 2 inches on Dixon Avenue. And we'd like to go from 10 feet to 8.8 feet 4 inches along Bayview Avenue. And that's important because across the street from Bayview are the only residential homes there. Now, we also want to increase the total area from the convenience store from 1,500 square feet to 1,687. And there's a calculation on the retail space. And if Kevin's on this meeting, I'd like Kevin to just go into a little detail to explain his calculations, because he was working with planning to explain how he calculated that only 859 square feet is going to be used as retail area as opposed to the whole building. Is Kevin on the call or?
Yep, I'm on the call.
Yeah.
Okay.
Before you start, I just need your name and address for the record.
Sure. Kevin Papazian, B. Thayer Associates, 99 Sunnyside Boulevard, Woodbury, New York, 11797.
Okay, do affirm to tell the truth?
Yes, I do.
Okay, go ahead. Thank you.
Yeah, based on the proposed layout of the existing building that'll be renovated, we based the sales area on areas to which a customer can physically purchase an item. So how we calculated that is we went through the building, and obviously the utility areas in the back and areas that are off limits to customers is not included in the total retail area as opposed to gross floor area. So on the site plan that was provided in that package, there's a floor plan drawing that shows the existing floor plan to the top and proposed floor plan to the lower end of the drawing. If Brian could pull that up. And if you see in that drawing, the hatched area, which is the drawing to the bottom, which is the proposed floor plan, indicates the area for which a customer could come in and physically go to the area. And this is probably also shows basically where they go in the cooler area, like to the boxes where they could reach in and grab a soda or whatever it may be in there. And then, as you can see around it, is a food service area in the middle. That's where an attendant will be. No customers allowed behind there or in the utility area. We didn't count the restroom because the restroom is not an area where they buy anything. It's just a convenience for people to go to the bathroom when they need to. So that's how we came up with the area of 859 square feet.
Okay, and if I could ask Brian if I'd just like to just show the board some renderings on the improvements that my client will do if his application is granted. And we could just scroll through this. Brian, if you could just go back one, I'm sorry. So we are seeking a permit to build a utility room, and that utility room is a small area. It's located on the west side of the building where the arrow is, and that is the current overhang. So it's not going to go beyond the existing roof line of the building. Okay, you just scroll through them just to get an idea of the different angles. Thank you, Brian.
Sorry about that.
Yeah,
Yep.
happy to answer any questions.
I'll turn this over a minute. Just, I have a question as far as, can you just explain, Brian, can you take me back to that first picture again?
Yeah.
Please.
The first picture of the canopy.
Yeah, the first picture. That's fine.
That one.
Can you see that?
Yeah, there we go. So can you just explain what part is the retail space and what part is not? So the overall building is 1,687 square feet. Am I correct? Is that what we're saying?
Yes.
So then we're trying to. So what's the difference? What's the retail space is what, and what's the rest of the building? If only half of it actually, it seems like, or somewhere as close to that, is going to be retail space, and the rest of it is what?
Well, there's an attendant area in the front up here. Maybe you want to look at this picture or look at the floor plan? So
yeah, you could do the floor plan. That's fine. If you could show that, that's fine. I'm questioning this. That's all. And
yes. So this is the front entrance. So this area here is for the attendant. Okay.
Okay.
So the area that has the hash marks, that's where the public has access to. So this is a food service area. This is a food prep. This is looks like refrigeration. This is the bathroom. This is the cooler. This is the line of the cooler. But since the public has access to the first 2 feet, we included this in the calculation. Public doesn't have access to here, or there, or the utility room, and they're not conducting business. They're not purchasing anything in the bathroom area.
So that hashed area You know, and I should probably turn this over. I'm sorry. This hashed area is only 859 square feet of that whole entire building?
Yes.
Correct.
Okay. All right, so let me turn this over to Mr. Delavecchia. I'm sorry.
So you guys are doing away with the public garage and going all to retail?
That's correct.
And now, how many employees do you guys plan on having on a daily basis?
I believe it's 3.
So then you would really only have 5 parking spaces, correct? Throughout the day?
Well, I don't think the 3. We have two employee parking spots.
Aside from the 8 that you're asking for?
No, that's included in it.
So it would be 6.
Right, but there'll be, you meant how many employees are going to be working at the same time?
Yeah.
Yeah, I believe it's 2.
As I understand, there's no more than 2 at one time.
Yes,
And then you would have 6 available parking spaces.
that's correct.
And now with the landscaping, that's going on the Bayview side, not the Dixon side?
It's going on, the landscaping is going on all sides. It's also going on the north side.
Okay.
Do you have a rendering that shows what you're doing on the Bayview side? I didn't see any perspective. How you're
You know what, I have one that has
Rendering-wise.
That's
this,
on the Dixon side, though.
Yeah, this is Dixon.
this is Dixon, this is Bayview.
So you're asking for less landscaping on the Bayview side where the residences are? Am I understanding that correct?
Yes, instead of 10 feet, we're asking for 8 feet, 4 inches.
And why is that? Why wouldn't you do more for the residents rather than less?
That's to get the parking and getting the service dispensing areas in there. If I could share a screen, I have a shot of it from across.
Well, the better way to look at it is that on the Bayview side, the area for landscaping is the distance between the 2 driveways is pretty narrow, so you can't really get that much. So we made a bigger area on the corner.
Picture that we can look at? Is there,
I'm sorry?
you have a rendering or something to help us
Uh,
rather than the verbal?
You guys should be able to share the screen if you need to.
here's a shot of it from across the street, a rendering.
Lou, if you need, the share screen button is the green button on the bottom of your window.
The green button.
Green
Oh,
button.
okay.
Yep.
Okay.
Then just click the application or the screen you want to share.
Can you see it or no?
No.
Let's see if I can pull something up.
Also, if you need, worst case, you could send me something. I have email right now.
Brian, do you have the landscaping plan?
I don't have it scanned in.
All right, hold on, let me see if I can pull it up. So I wasn't planning on showing anything. Let me see if I can grab it really quick.
Is the landscaping plans just grass going around the exterior?
No, there will be some trees planted as well.
Some nice shrubbery or something like that?
The shrubbery be around, there is gonna be some shrubbery around the ID sign on the lower end, and we went over planning with this thing. And there's a lot of plantings going in the back, behind the building. And in the corner, there's a big, there's a lot of landscaping going on the corner. Let me pull up the plan now. Let me see what we can find here. That's not the colored one. What the hell's the colored one? All righty. So if I grab this, I'm going to pull this up on the screen now. So
There you go.
Can I see that? Okay. So if you look at this right here is made this area bigger than 10 feet. It's where the sign's going to be in a corner. You see the area where the landscaping is over here isn't very long to begin with, because the property length is pretty short here. So we made this part bigger. We have proposed trees going along here, and this is where they have the heavy landscaping going back there.
Is there currently a curb cut on Bayview?
There's
there's-
curb, the whole place is like one big curb cut for the most part now.
And that, as addressing a concern the planning board had, we put the air compressors and everything behind the building, and they'll be shielded by the plantings that are indicated on the plan here.
That's-
This station doesn't currently sell gas, does it?
No, it hasn't sold gas, I believe, for about 20 years.
Yeah, okay, that's what I thought.
For
I
the
mean, I
past
live
20
in-
years, it's just been a public garage?
Oh, it's been a public garage continuous, yes.
Mr. Chairman, if you don't mind me asking a quick question.
Sure.
I don't see it in the application, but does the signage plan on changing? Are they going to alter the signage at all, or?
I think.
The signage, there's no sign there now. So are you saying, are we gonna alter the signage from the renderings?
Only because I saw in the picture there, you have a mobile, sign on the corner there.
Is that
Yeah, I
gonna
mean,
be-
that was for illustration. I don't know, it depends at the time when they're ready to enter into a contract
Okay,
for the gas, what company they're gonna go with. I mean, at the time it was mobile, but that changes.
Okay.
So you would try to meet code with that, or if not, you'd have to come back for a sign variance.
Yes, we understand that.
All right.
And currently, when this goes back to operating in full force here, dumpsters, where are they located? Are they near the residence or are they far away from the residence?
Oh, no, they're in the corner. They're in the
North corner.
northeast corner. You could see on the site plan.
Okay, as long as they're away from the residence. That's my only question. I'm done,
Yeah.
Mr. Chair.
Okay, that's industrial on the east side of that property, right?
It is. Yep.
Okay. All right, so,
Is Bayview Avenue between Sunrise and Dixon, is that industrial or is that residential?
It's industrial.
On one side of the street, right?
definitely on the east side.
Yes.
Yeah.
And even on the north side and south of it. It is only,
So those two houses are isolated
No.
residences in a sea of industry. That's
yes.
No, you've got, unmute us.
I think we're on meeting, Kate.
Dave, on the west side, you have on Sunrise Highway, there's the funeral parlor, then you have a bunch of houses down, and then you have a church, but most of the west side is residential. Most of the east side is industrial, and then you have the Home Depot to the north, and to the south is mostly industrial. And to the southwest is the village of Amityville.
what I'm inquiring is for those residences that are across from the applicant, this wouldn't be a very different experience when it's completed, and hopefully it's an upgrade.
It would definitely be
It's
an
in
improvement.
character with what's on that street.
Yeah.
I just have one more question. What do you guys plan on the hours of operation being?
I believe 24 hours. But we are, one of the covenants that the planning board is requiring that they reserve the right to impose restrictions on the hours of operation. And we're agreeing with all the covenants, but the planning board does have that addressed as far as if it becomes a nuisance.
Yeah, if there weren't any houses there, I wouldn't have a problem with 24 hours, but since there are residential houses, right next door.
Right, but, the applicants would like to do it 24 hours at the time of that, but the planning board did reserve the right to restrict the hours.
So you guys would be open to restricting the hours?
We don't want to do it, but if the planning board, it's a huge investment that they're making, and with the way that the cars are, I mean, it used to be, service stations and gasoline are the only way to make it that you have a chance of making any money is to have these convenience stores. And it's in line with what's been granted before.
Okay.
There's no car wash. There's not, it's just gas and a convenience store.
Yeah. All right. I have no more questions, Mr. Chairman.
Any other questions from the board?
Yes, Mr. Chairman, I'd like to ask, in the food court, you serving the food, someone cooking it, or it's going to be packaged, prepared already?
It's going to be prepared there and heated up. It's going to be, it's sort of like deli food that's purchased and reheated, and they'll comply with any health department.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Any other questions from the board? Brian, anybody on this application?
No, Mr. Chairman, there are no one registered to speak.
Okay, so we're going to close the hearing. We're going to reserve decision. We're going to keep the record open for 1 week for any further comments. You'll get the decision in the mail. Thanks.
Thank you.
Thank you, guys.
Moving on to the remainder of the agenda. Moving on to page 7. P&P Motors remains reserved. Moving on to the bottom of page 7. Item number 6 in your correspondence is a letter from Daryl Conway requesting J&J Wanjari Corp. Doing business as Christie's Smoke Shop, application 20-001, your first application of last year, be withdrawn.
Okay.
Wow.
Yeah, really.
I trust that's to the board's approval.
Yes, that's the board's.
Absolutely.
Moving on to page 8 of the agenda, Jimmy Jack remains reserved pending new plans. Bottom of page 8, Carvana remains reserved pending fire marshal approval. Counsel for the application has been in touch advising that plans are underway to be submitted to the fire marshal for approval.
Okay, good.
Page 9 of the agenda, Suffolk OTB also has fire marshal issues pending, and we're looking for outreach to their counsel to advise them that they need to take some action in that regard. And moving on to page 10 of the agenda, these were the applications heard at last week's meeting. The first one is 20-174, Julian Gonzalez. The board had, the planning had requested, if approved, the condition the sunroom not be heated. The property is located in Copeg.
I'm good with it. I'll make a motion to approve application 20-174 with the condition that the sunroom not be heated.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Next application is 20-175, 20-175, Brian Magus. This property is located in North Babylon. Planning had recommended, if approved, it be approved with a condition the front porch not be further enclosed.
Mr. Chairman, I'll make a motion to approve application 20175 with the condition that the front porch not be further enclosed.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Moving on to page 11 of the agenda, the application is 20-176. The applicant is 430 Middle Island Road. This property is located in Amityville. You will recall that there was a new variance added after last week's hearing. It's variance number 7. The amendment was made at last week's meeting. If approved, planning had recommended it would be approved with a condition that the front porch and rear decks not be enclosed above or below. Was also subject to DEC conditions. And item number 4 in your correspondence advises you that Suffolk County Planning has advised this is a matter of local determination. 20-176 located in Amityville.
So this is really Amity Harbor. This is.
I make a motion to approve application 20-176 with the condition that the front porch and rear decks not be enclosed above or below and the DEC conditions.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Next on page 12, we have the application of Leonis Bell Cesar Campos. This was the church. It's application 20-178. We're going to continue to recommend that this stays reserved, as you have two items in your correspondence. Number 3 is a letter from Nicole Blanda, and number 7 is a memo from the planning department. There are also fire marshal issues continuing for this item, so we would give you some time to review that correspondence and make sure that fire marshal is satisfied prior to having the board move on this application.
Thank you.
Moving on to bottom of page 12, it's 20-177 Deer Hills Service LLC. This property is located in Deer Park. Planning had no objections.
Mr. Chairman, I make a motion to approve application 20177 for a period of 3 years.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And your final page of the agenda, your first correspondence was an email for Brian Sinsaba requesting to Novak Motors. Your second is an email from Nicole Blanda regarding the sprinkler system. So that second variance was withdrawn. Item number 3 is a letter from Nicole Blanda regarding the church we just referred to. Item number 4 is a Suffolk County Planning memo in regard to Middle Island Road. Item number 5 is the Suffolk County Planning Report for Deer Hills Service LLC. Item number 6 was the letter from Daryl Conway requesting the adjournment of J&J Wanjari. Item number 7 is the memo from the Planning Department regarding the church application. We're going to ask if you would accept the minutes of December 19th. They have been revised to their final format, and you'll be receiving the final format in a separate email. They were submitted to you last week for review. So it was December 19th. Just be mindful of the members who were present at that meeting in Tanner Park.
Anybody want to make it, or I'll make it? I'll make a motion to accept the minutes of December 19th.
I'll second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Is there?
And the abstentions?
Abstain.
Abstain.
Same.
Okay.
And then moving on to accepting the minutes of January 7th.
I'll make a motion to accept the minutes for January 7th.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
For your review, the minutes for January 21st have been included in your packet for review. And also for your review during next week's break, we have the findings for Ocean Blue Innovation. That was the property with the enormously large staircase. You will note in the findings, we refer to a prior zoning variance that was granted for this property. And then the plans were approved with a 9-foot setback and then built with a 3-foot setback. So that's for your review. And finally, before we conclude, let us all wish Brian a very happy birthday this Saturday.
Happy birthday.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Happy birthday, Brian.
Thank you, thank you.
Hey,
Figured I was good to take off since we're off next week.
21?
I think he still has a 2 at his first number. I think it is
28.
28.
Big
Wow.
2-8.
Whoa.
When you get to be my age, that's the 7th anniversary of your 21st birthday.
I like that, John.
I'm just happy with no traffic tickets this year. I'll take it.
Hey, so can somebody go over that last one for me, like the store coverage? He's saying it's only 859 square feet.
What was
I
that?
don't, Kate, do you got?
Yeah, I'm here. The state building code says retail is retail. It doesn't take out for the coolers. It doesn't take out for the bathroom. Doesn't take out for the back room. Okay, he didn't split it up. Historically, we have split them, but really we shouldn't be splitting them. The state building code says retail is retail, and it's in the entire building is retail. So,
But the local code is the problem.
but our local code, that when it was written back whenever, didn't distinguish what retail was versus the size of the building. So we've gotten all this different interpretations through the years. So unfortunately, you guys as the board gets to make the determination. But the state building code does not change because it's a refrigeration area, or it's the bathroom area, or it's the wash up area. It's still all considered retail.
What's their objection to just using the larger square footage?
Because our code is weird. It says 1,500 square feet for the building and then
800 for the retail.
and 800 for the retail.
When it should be just all for the building.
It should be just all for the building.
Yeah, because that's what I was trying to figure out. It looks like it's all for the building anyway. I mean, it's showing me the hatched areas and everything. I was like kind of confused with that whole thing. So,
Yeah, because
I asked the town board to update the code.
yeah.
yeah, that's easier said than done, Dave. But if you guys make a precedent, then I can live with it. If you tell me the entire building's retail and you grant them that variance, which is fine that you grant it, I don't really have a problem with the size of this.
Yeah, I don't think that's the problem. I
It's not
think
really a
just-
big one, but I'd like you to help me determine that. This way I can write it consistently to you.
Okay, no, that's fine. And I don't have a problem with it. I just, the inconsistency of the footage and stuff like that. I mean,
Right.
that place has been a crap hole for as long as I lived here, freaking almost 50 years. It's always been nothing but junk. So, I mean, any upgrade there is certainly welcome. I mean, but
It looks very nice.
yeah, so,
It
all right.
does. They really got to improve it. And we really did work hard about this small site, about the deliveries, the Pepsi trucks, the
Right.
Coke trucks. So his one parking space that he lost really was
To accommodate the additional loading.
because we
Yeah.
made him put a loading dock in, because I'm sorry, the guy that I go to has his trucks in the driveways and I can't get in and out at certain times. So the one parking space variance really was just to make sure we had a loading area.
Okay, no, that's fine. I don't think there's any problem with any of that. I quite honestly, that the 24 hours, I don't see him doing business in the middle of the night over there.
I
It's
think
not
11
that
p.m.
heavy.
to 5 a.m. is good. I mean, 11 p.m. to 5 a.m. is good.
Yeah, I mean, I just don't see the 24 hours, honestly. So, but all right, we'll revisit that, but whatever. Okay, thanks, Kate. I appreciate that.
No problem, guys.
Would anyone like to make a motion to adjourn?
Make a motion to adjourn.
Second.
All in favor?
All right.
All right.